Alright, I'm going to get this out of the way right away so that nobody gets mad at me in the comments. I don't think this is going to happen, but there have been some rumors that the Winnipeg Jets have been linked to Jakob Chychurn, that reported by David Pagnotta. So I thought that Chychurn was going to LA this weekend, and I still think that he probably could end up in LA. I'm sure there's still the front runners, but as reported by Chris Johnston, Frank Saravelli, David Pagnotta, everybody there, it really does not seem like he's very close to being moved. It does seem like a deal is still a ways away from being done. Still seems like there is a lot of work to be done. Elliot Friedman did report that a lot of teams are circling back on the Chychurn front now, as it does appear the LA trade did have a snag in it. I believe it was a cap snag or something like that, because I don't know what else would have really held it up that much. So unless that can get resolved, he might not be an LA King. So if the Jets are one of those teams that are knocking on the door, just kind of seeing how things are, that could be a lot of fun to think about if Jakob Chychurn could be on the Winnipeg Jets. Now let's take a look at what that might look like. Right now, the Winnipeg Jets defensive core, when totally healthy, is Josh Morrissey and Dylan DeMello on the top pairing, Brendan Dillon and Neil Pionk on the second pairing, and then a mix of Sandberg and Stanley and Nate Schmidt on the third pairing. You know, the bottom four there, they kind of move around a little bit at times, but for the most part, that's what it usually has been this season when fully healthy. I do think that Jakob Chychurn could be a really nice fit in the Jets' top four. I think that he could play with Josh Morrissey, or he could play on his very own pair, right? You could have two star defensemen rolling out those two pairings, and you could kind of shelter Neil Pionk, who hasn't been having the most, fantastic season ever. I'd imagine that in the trade, one of Sandberg or Stanley would have to go the other way, and the one that doesn't go the other way would be the 7th D. You could throw Hanel in there too, because I don't know, whatever. However you want to build the trade, you build it yourself in your head. I don't know what the package is going to look like. I'm sure it's going to be a first, another pick, and maybe 2 prospects. So do with that what you will. But Jakob Chychurn could really change how we see the Winnipeg Jets. I do think they need some help up front, and I'm not saying they don't. I'm still big that the Jets should be going all in for Timo Meier, and I still would kind of prefer him over Jakob Chychurn. However, I do think that it's fun to think about, because right now we've got Josh Morrissey, who's having an incredible year, with Dylan DeMello. That pairing has been fantastic. DeMello's been having a great year, but from there, our defensemen are kind of spotty. I think that Brendan Dillon's been really good this year. At times doesn't play fantastic, but for the most part, he has been pretty steady. Neil Pionk's been a little bit of a disaster this season. I don't really know what's going on with him, but I hope that he gets better. I'm not sure if he's hurt or what's going on with him. I just don't think he's playing that well this season. Nate Schmidt is up and down for me. Some nights I think he's fantastic, and some nights he's doing snow angels. And Dylan Sandberg, I think, is a guy that can fit fine in the, top 6 defense for the Winnipeg Jets, but they seem to want to play Stanley as much as they can, unfortunately, and I don't think that Logan Stanley is top 6 defense potential, at least for the Winnipeg Jets anyway. I don't think he's very good. Jakob Chychurn has missed, quite a bit of time this season, but he has played 36 games where he has scored 7 goals and put up 28 points as a whole. That is pretty good, really good offensive defenseman, not too bad defensively either. I think that he'd be a great fit in this lineup, and I think he could really push the Jets over the top there in the West defensively. And then if they add a guy like Max Domi for the third line, maybe have, a James Van Riemsdyk in there as well, just to kind of fill out the top 9, then you're looking at a pretty good Jets team. Adding a guy like Chychurn to the back end really does give the Jets a lot of flexibility and a little bit more insurance if there is an injury, and I really like the idea of that, as Winnipeg really hasn't had a star defenseman. Obviously Josh Morrissey's playing fantastic this year, and he is a star, but, prior to this year, it's been a little slow going since we lost a lot of defensemen in the 2020 season there. But if you're able to add a Chychurn, and then you have Morrissey, DeMello as your top pairing, and then, Chychurn, and then one of Brendan Dillon, Nate Schmidt, Neil Pionk, whoever you want there on the second pairing, he just makes you that much deeper at defense, and there's just so much star power there as well. And then your third pairing can be, Dillon and Pionk. That can be your third pairing opposed to your second, and then you play Nate Schmidt with Jakob Chychurn. I think that could be a lot of fun, but of course, we'll see what happens there. We'll see what Bones wants to do if that were to happen. Now, I'm going to regurgitate this one more time. I don't think that Jakob Chychurn is coming to Winnipeg. I think that the Jets are going to focus their efforts more so up front, maybe the Jets do go out and get a top 4 guy or, I don't know, bottom pairing guy just to stabilize the lineup a little bit if they're not sure about Sandberg and Stanley. But with all that said, I am totally on board with a Jakob Chychurn trade if the Jets were to do it. Again, I don't think that it's going to happen. However, I do think that it could be a lot of fun and could give the Jets the boost that they need to go far into the playoffs. But yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on it because I thought it was kind of interesting that the Jets are, kind of just knocking on the door. Seems like they are looking to make a big swing, whether it's Timo Meier, Jakob Chychurn, somebody else. That, I don't know, it seems like they really do want to go big game hunting, so that's a lot of fun to think about. I am going to leave it there, though. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are so close to 1K. Thanks so much, everybody, for supporting the channel. But yeah, I'm going to hop on out of here. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.